he did get down that first job he really had out of college, and it was in Belding, Michigan, and that had to do with running a private boys' school in Belding. And then from that job, he got a job teaching in Belding. And then from there, that same man found this job for him in Mount Clemens, and he came to Mount Clemens and worked for the government.
Okay, where'd you live at when you first moved to Mount Clemens?
We lived, well, when we first moved to Mount Clemens, we lived a good many months right out of a hotel, right just about where the Emerald Theater is, right along there. And then from there, we moved to, Lawndale down, and we lived there for a few years, and then we moved to 24 Union Street, and that's where we lived when Donna was born, and that's directly across the street from the Crocker house.
Okay.
And then that house was sold, and physically, what furniture we had, which probably wasn't much, we carried up the street to 44 Union Street, and that's where we lived when Don went in the service.
What branch of the service was he in?
He was the Navy, and he had been in ROTC from the high school and through at Michigan State too. So that's how come he got to be a commissioned officer when he enlisted, when the war broke out. And he got that assignment in June, like just when graduation was. And by the time school started in September, he was already overseas.
Do you know what year that was?
Well, let's see, 38 would have been,
okay.
I think. Is that right? No, 42. Because Donna wasn't quite a year old.
Okay.
And when he came home from the service to be home forever, she was ready to go to kindergarten.
So she was about 5?
Yep.
What was it like while he was gone with the 2 daughters?
Well, I didn't have anybody but myself to take, I think I took the train a couple times to Grand Rapids to visit my sisters. But I don't really remember too much. But I knew at the time, and I never have said this to anyone before, but this is when Don came home from the service and I knew, he was going to be home forever, I thought I had really a rough time with him all the years. And so I figured either I make up my mind today, either leave him or stay with them. And so that was the day I said, well, I'm married for better or for worse. I'll be with you to the end. So all the years and all the problems I would have, I'd say, hey, this is just the way life is. I'll never leave you, and this is just the way.
Now, when he was in the military, do you know where he was stationed?
Oh, he was in the Pacific.
Okay.
I don't really know too much about that.
He was on a boat, though, right?
Yeah, on an LST. And I just looked that up for Jennifer, and it was number 27. And while he was on that boat, he was a pastor or a minister or something for the services. And about the only thing he ever told me about him being in the service was two of his roommates, or I don't think they called them roommates, they both committed suicide. And that's about the one shot himself and one drowned.
Now, when he was on the boat, did you have any communication with him?
No, well, Patty has letters that he sent to me, but they cut so much stuff out. It's really something to see, but you'll have to look someday and see them because she's got a lot of them.
They physically cut out sections of the letter, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whole sentences and holes and stuff.
Now, when he was gone, you said it was about 4 or 5 years.
4 years.
Did he ever get to come home and visit during that time?
Well, he didn't come home till I think when he first came back from the States, he was probably 5 or 6 months in Waukegan. I don't even remember, what did you call that naval base in Waukegan?
Okay.
But we did go there once to see him there. But he never came home all the time. He went overseas and he was there.
Okay.
It wasn't like they go for 6 months and that's what they gets me, and they'll say, oh, these men are gone for a whole year. And I think, hey, they talk to them every night. I mean, they can get all this email. It isn't like it used to be. War's altogether different nowadays, I think.
Now, you mentioned you lived in East Lansing and then moved once and then moved here to Mount Clemens. When did you start working?
Oh, I didn't go to work until my girls were already, I think Patty was already in high school, and I had a friend that worked at the telephone company, and one day she said to me, you want to ride to Mount Clemens with me, and I want to pick up my paycheck, and she said, see, she was buying something, and I said, oh, we'll never have anything. All we ever buy is the car. We just finished paying for a car, and we're going to pay for another car. And she said, why don't you go to work? And I said, oh, I would never go to work and leave my girls at home. Don would just have a fit. And so anyway, she said, well, just fill out an application. So by the time I got home, Don said, well, you had a phone call about something about working, and so she wanted me. She says, I expected you to go and have a physical someplace and come right back. But anyway, I got that job working at the telephone company here in Mount Clemens, and we lived in Roseville, and I did not drive, and I had to take the bus back and forth to drive.
Did you not drive because you didn't have an extra car, or was there a different reason?
No, I don't know. I never had learned to drive.
Okay. Wasn't Grandpa a driver's ed teacher?
Well, he wasn't a oh yeah, by that time he was I don't even think about that. Yeah, he after he quit coaching, why he taught driver's ed, and he didn't help me. He would just laugh and laugh. And I lived right across the street from Jenny, and I would back out of the driveway, back right, didn't have paved streets, and I'd go right into the ditch. But the girl, a couple streets down, Lucille Ball, she helped me get my driver's license, and I said, well, if I just drive far enough to pick up my groceries or something like that, I will drive far. Well, I think 3 months from then, after I got my driver's license, I think my sister Ruth and I drove to California. We were gone 6 weeks. But see, Don in the meantime had been, that was a good many years, Paul, because when Don came home from the service and got to teaching, see, then he had that good basketball team that won the state, played in the state finals in East Lansing with
What school was that?
Eastland High School in Roseville. That's where today they have a senior citizen housing right there where that location was. But see, then when Don got beat and didn't win the finals, why he never was offered the job back, and that really crushed him. And he said, well, at least he got there more than most of them ever did. Mm-hmm. And so the first year he didn't teach. He all he did was had library science, and that's when he went to U of M and got his master's, and in counseling, and he started to be a counselor then. But at that time is when he taught driver's training too.
Okay.
Now that was a long time ago.
Were you very involved with the basketball teams, or was that just Don's thing?
Oh no, I went to every game. I'd be sick all day before the game, but when the game started, I would be fine. Kids scored so many points. I always made his favorite pie. Did you ever hear me say
No.
that before?